Yo, what's up guys? Boogle here. Today, I'm gonna be using my own guide to beat Manic Dark, which once was one of the harder Manic stages. Now we have access to units like Warrior, but we could still use the info from the old guide and just slot in our replacements or newer units. Now, in the old guide, in the strategy and lineup explanation, it did mention many times how Sanzo is the real MVP of the stage, and that still stays true to this day, even 4 years later. Now, we accidentally did clear this before doing one of our test runs, so for the first run in quotation marks, I wanted to try it without Rich Cat because a lot of Manic Dark's difficulty comes from it being not a base hit stage and also the huge cash management you have to do in the beginning of this stage. A can with double bounty in the beginning here is super helpful, so that was one of the routes we could have taken as well. But here in this run I was spacing out. In the old guide I did mention how in the beginning you want to take as much ground as possible, as quick as possible before the shy boys start pushing forward and taking more of your ground away. So already we've kind of failed there. We lost a bit of ground because we weren't sending out our manic erasers in the beginning, but we're doing this without Rich, so cash management was a big thing to take control of. But you'll quickly see, without Can's double bounty, cash management in the beginning here without Rich Cat is quite rough because you have to do a huge balancing act of saving cash while also building up a stack big enough to handle the shy boys quickly and efficiently. And since our units are much lower leveled here, that isn't really too efficient. So already this run is scrapped. We've lost quite a lot of ground. We haven't killed any of the shy boys yet. Nyandam is pushing up slowly, and we have no cash. This is the main threat of the stage, the beginning, and most of that is solved with just equipping a Rich Cat, but it is still definitely possible without, if you have higher levels at least, not at level 30 like we are here. In the old guide, the cameraman we used was level 36, which is 6 levels higher, but at this point everyone should have cameraman at level 40 because it is one of the best rare cats in the game, and it would be idiotic not to get it to 40, but even still we did use it at a lower level there, and here we're using it at an even lower level. Cyborg was the main culprit though at level 45. We do not have near that close to level, so we are substituting Cyborg with the one and only Courier at level 30, which should be enough. Then it's just filler with Sanzo, our meat shields, and other ranged attackers. Crazed Dragon. But yeah, that Nyandam hit right there was just the nail in the coffin for this run because the Bun wave isn't even here and we're this close to the base already, and Bahamut got absolutely brutalized. That's why holding ground in this level is super important, because once this happens and you're this close to the base, it's pretty much over even if you do have Sanzo. So yeah, the no Rich Cat run was scrapped. Definitely could have played this run a lot better, but it's fine because we do have our win condition already. So yeah, we have our winning condition already, and that was Rich Cat. That's pretty much it. Now, of course, that's not all. Of course, we have to execute the strategy. And here we're doing it much better, pushing forward very aggressively, trying to hold as much ground as possible in the beginning. Courier helps tremendously in the beginning here with his movement speed. The DPS against the raids here is also just insanity, even at level 30. But yeah, the reason why Sanzo is still the king of this stage is because crowd control is still king. Now, with higher levels, you can start just brute forcing things even without crowd control. But with low levels here, especially here, crowd control is always going to be king. In the old guide, I did mention how iCat can work for the shy boys in this stage, but there is a new issue in this stage, that being Bun. Bun outranges iCat, where Sanzo is able to outrange all of the floating enemies in this stage. Cameraman being the GOAT here is just always going to be helpful regardless. The main threats being floating just makes Cameraman that more insane in this stage. Of course, we could have just used our Ubers in here and just wiped out the stage in a couple seconds, but that's not the point of these videos. So we're looking pretty great already. We haven't had to use Bahamut or Urudun Wolf yet, saving our legends to not take any unnecessary hits from Nyandam if it does happen. In the guide, I did mention how you want to save at least one of your Ubers or legends for the Bun wave in case one of them does die early. It is still pretty risky holding on to both of your legends for the Bun wave, so sending out Bahamut early here was a right choice. Of course, Haniwa returns here once again in another Manic stage. A lot of people might say Haniwa doesn't do that great in this stage because of how much peons there are and the red enemies. Well, The second half of the stage is just Manic Dark and Neandum, and Haniwa is tremendously helpful for that. Also the very beginning of the stage, which is the most important part of the stage. And it's about time for the Bun Bun wave, and it's time for Sanzo to shine here. Courier having that LD in the stage also is super powerful, able to hit that Bun Bun even when the Shy Boys are up in the front here. Also able to get some chip damage on Manic Dark, though the role of chip damage is filled by Crazed Dragon here on Manic Dark. Crazed Dragon could actually work as a ranged meat shield in this stage, believe it or not, being able to absorb that Neandum hit or a Bun Bun hit before it reaches your Ubers or Legends. Now without Sniper Cat, it is pretty scary when Manic Dark pushes forward, so some of it might seem RNG reliant on knockbacks here, but Haniwa does make it a bit more easier to handle the Manic Dark's crazy push. Also, for some reason, we did not use CPU in this run, but we were still able to get it done because the big fight of the stage is definitely just a CPU spam moment, while the beginning of the level is just pure money and cash management, and the later half of the level is just cycling chip damage, going in a back and forth battle, which even without wolf knockbacks, we're still able to get those damage knockbacks on Manic Dark, so we're able to try to hold more ground here, and there's the big knockback we needed from Ururun Wolf, followed by that nice courier damage knockback hitting both Shy Boy and Bun Bun. Neandum also got pretty close there, but Ururun Wolf was able to clutch it and get a knockback right there. Courier's LD at points is able to hit Neandum in this stage if Neandum does creep up close enough, so there's that, because we saw Ururun Wolf even without LD was able to hit Neandum right there. But yeah, now we've essentially just reached the last half of the level, which is just a continuous back and forth battle of fighting against Manic Dark, getting wiped out by the Neandum, building up a stack, and repeating the process over and over again. At this point, we could use the occasional Shy Boy wave to just use Courier as some leveraged chip damage on Manic Dark. This is the most boring part of the stage, and this is why we bring Crazed Dragon exactly for this part, because not many units could outrange Manic Dark here other than our Legends, so Crazed Dragon is a huge must here, or just any other attacker that outranges Manic Dark, because we'll only be able to use Courier and its chip damage when Shy Boy or any other peon comes up, and we can use them as leverage. Though you'll see in this run that Bahamut and Wolf are able to stay alive pretty long, being able to avoid those Neandum hits, because Courier clutched it out and got some damage knockbacks on Neandum. And at this point, you can see we have 2 Bahamuts stacked up, and we're about to have 2 Wolves stacked up as well. But yeah, we could just speed through the rest of this because it is just a back and forth battle. Though you can get pretty lucky like we did in this run, where Neandum is missing all of his hits on our major stackers, and once he does try to attack, Wolf is already there to knock back, do a damage knockback, Courier can do a damage knockback, etc. If we did not have Haniwa here in this part of the level, Manic Dark would definitely be pushing up way harder, especially since we did not bring the Sniper Cat power up, but I did mention that it can mess you up sometimes. But yeah, there we go. Manic Dark eventually dies out with our small Crazed Dragon stack there. That's why having at least one ranged attacker for the second half of the level is kind of important, unless you want to stay in the stage for an eternity. But there it is, Manic Dark complete. And just pretend that was our first run of clearing Manic Dark. Yay, we got our Manic Dark. We'll just ignore the fact that Manic Dark is the useless and worst Manic ever. Nah, I'm joking. We all know Manic Dark is the real GOAT. Unjust War, deadly. But yeah, that's it. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. Join the hashtag Boogle gang. Discord is down below. And yeah, only one of these videos left, I think, and then it'll be on to working on finishing the Manic guides, the newer ones. But yeah, that's it. See ya.